Hello? Are we there yet? I think we're live. Okay, let's start.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. We are Accelerated. We are broadcasting live from a warm and sunny evening in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. So thanks for joining us for this live call, webinar, chat. This is our first time, so bear with us. We'll see how it goes. So, Accelerated is a teacher coaching company. We are about 3 years old now, just about to start our 4th year of school operations. We focus on teacher coaching. So, myself, I'm Ravi, the CEO and founder of Accelerated. Prior to this, my experience has been mostly in strategy consulting, and before that, in investment banking. I've worked and lived in maybe 7 countries in Europe, Asia, and Africa, but Ethiopia is home now, and yeah, here we are.
Thanks, Ravi. So my name is Nathaniel Asagid. I lead growth at Accelerated. So before Accelerated, I've been working in different sectors. One is, of course, education, and the other ones included in the ICT sector as well as in volunteering.
Yeah, this is a great time for this call. It's very timely and very topical. The last 2 days have been extremely busy for us, and also very, very, very exciting. Yesterday we were invited to a high-level event with the president of Ethiopia and the president of Finland to discuss about gender equality in education, right from preschool to higher education. So it was very interesting. There was a lot of progress made. There were some clear deliverables on the way forward. And today, even as we speak, we just got out of an event organized by the World Bank and with the Ministry of Education, specifically focused on teacher development, and even more specifically focused on teacher coaching and how to do teacher coaching at scale. So we provided and shared some really valuable inputs. Again, we need to see like what are the next steps coming out of this, and how the ministry and the government will design policy initiatives around it. But it's great. So today we have a lot of insights from different places, and also can see like how our work can be scaled at scale at a country level and at a policy level. So it's very exciting times to be alive and to be doing this work and to be sharing all of this with you. So very, very, very quick high level numbers of Accelerated. We, like I said earlier, we've been operational for about, we finished 3 academic years in Ethiopia. We have done pilots in Kenya and Tanzania and a couple of other places. And so far we have trained and coached over 1,200 teachers, reaching over 25,000 students. So this is amazing. I mean, this is crazy numbers. We are astounded every day at how fast we are growing. And this year we are projected to add on maybe 1,000 new teachers this year. Just last month, we trained about 400 teachers. Yeah, so this is very exciting times for our team. We are growing very quickly. We might very well be the fastest growing education company in Africa. So yeah, here it goes.
Great. So as Ravi said, we have discussed more on the numbers that we have accomplished. So these numbers are really high compared to all the education interventions that are currently happening in East Africa as well as Ethiopia. So with this, we have been more involved in the teacher coaching program. So as Ravi was mentioning, this teacher coaching program has been the flagship program for Accelerated, that we have seen a lot of changes. So starting with the context of Ethiopia, so we'll be discussing why it is relevant to do this coaching in Ethiopia, what problems or what challenges have been happening in Ethiopia in education, so that our intervention is needed. So Ravi can take you through some of the challenges, and we will discuss the solution that we came up with it and how well it worked.
Yeah, so the Ethiopian context might be familiar to a lot of different participants, innovators, social enterprises from a developing country context. But the Ethiopian context is also very different to a developed market context. So what are the defining characteristics of the education system in Ethiopia? One of the biggest factors or attributes, you could say, is the very large class sizes. Classes typically range between 40 students to even 90 students in many cases. That's the first one. Second one is teachers who are low skilled and under-resourced, and the whole teacher pipeline is kind of broken. Teachers are not very well prepared before they enter the classroom, and once they are already in service, they get very few opportunities for upskilling. So this is a huge problem, and the problem gets perpetuated year after year. But they do get a lot of trainings. It's not that they're not trained or they don't attend any training programs. It's just that the trainings that they get don't seem to be working. So we try to understand, spend a lot of time actually talking to many stakeholders to understand what exactly the root causes were and how we could build an intervention that addresses as many root causes as possible. So what we found was trainings were not working for a few different reasons, right? So the biggest reason was they were very unstructured. It's just a random training happening on a Monday, another training happening in June, another training happening because some development partner decided a particular topic was a hot topic of the year, of the month. So this is where teachers get extremely frustrated because these trainings are not meeting the needs of the teacher. They're meeting the needs of the training provider. And secondly, the trainings that do have some relevancy to classroom instruction focus mostly on content, on building subject knowledge like mathematics, English, science, so on. But these trainings rarely, very rarely, focus on pedagogy. So there's a report coming out tomorrow that the World Bank guys are releasing. It's called the World Development Report, which focuses quite a bit on this topic. So there's a graph showing, sorry, there's a pop-up. There's a graph that shows competency of pedagogy across different countries, and it's among the lowest, like among all other teacher skills. Teachers have a lot of subject knowledge and assessment knowledge and so on, but pedagogical knowledge is almost non-existent. And this is not just in Ethiopia. This is true across many, many, many countries around the world. So yeah, it's a huge, massive problem. So teachers might know what to teach. There are textbooks and high quality content out there, open educational resources that they can tap into. But the biggest problem is they don't know how to teach it or how to reach the student with their knowledge. So these are the problems that we want to address. And we have done many experiments. We have tested a lot of different ideas. We have learned a lot from different countries from around the world and tried to bring it to the Ethiopian context and to a developing country context. And we think we are fairly successful. We have had a couple of independent evaluations as well. And the results have been extremely positive. And the biggest indicator for us is schools are willing to, we are a for-profit enterprise, and schools are willing to pay us. It's very, very rare that schools pay anywhere in any country for teacher development. And we are making it possible in Ethiopia and continue to stay as partners with us for even 3 years. So, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. This is the main reason why we wanted to be a for-profit, because school satisfaction is the primary driver of, to show us, or the primary indicator to show us how good our quality of work is. Because if you're not doing a good job, or if you're not adding value to schools, probably they will not be our partners and they will not continue to pay us year after year. So this is a huge indicator for us to make sure that we are on track, make sure that we are meeting the needs of teachers and schools. Yeah, so the main topic that we want to focus for today's chat is how can we make coaching accessible to every teacher in the world? So there's a lot of research that says teacher coaching and teacher mentoring, especially on instruction, is one of the most powerful interventions that anybody can do at a school level. So why is it not being done more widely? It's because the biggest limiting factor is cost. And this is a big topic that we were discussing as well earlier during the conference this morning, is how can we make coaching more accessible? So this is, again, like I said, a very relevant topic to share with all of you as well. So yeah, in the US, I think a few years ago, there was a report that said teacher coaching costs as much as $9,000 per teacher per year. And that kind of figure scares literally every single policymaker, every single school, every single teacher, and nobody would ever even think of coaching as a viable option. So this is a big problem we want to solve. We're not trying to prove that coaching works. That work is already being done by very, very, very capable researchers around the world. What we want to prove it is how can we bring the cost down to a really low level. Right now, our price, we can go as low as $60 per teacher per year, which is insane, when you compare it to $9,000. But we're always in the lookout for more further efficiencies and further ways to reduce the cost to make it even more accessible. So the topic for today is, how do we do that?
Great. So to add on this one, first, why we chose coaching is the biggest question here. So coaching has been a proven concept in many different sectors rather than education. So bringing all the best practices of coaching to education has been the biggest success of, I think, our organization and any other teacher coaching intervention. Also, that Ravi said, some limiting factors are there. So big people, like people that are in the high end of society, like Bill Gates and football players that has been doing this for a lot of years, as well as they've been really good at it, has been a product of a great coach that will be supporting them individually, as well as giving them a lot of targeted goals.
Yeah, everybody needs a coach. We keep saying that Bill Gates has a coach, Ronaldo has a coach, Federer has a coach, even Kung Fu Panda has a coach. So when you look at it, teachers get the least amount of support compared to any other profession in the world. Whether it be it dentists, be it drivers, be it lawyers, be it doctors. All of them have a lot of time for practice, for apprenticeships. But in most cases, in a kind of context like Ethiopia, teachers are just thrown into the deep end, into a classroom right away with very limited support, very limited training, and are expected to deliver high quality education from day one. And this is completely unreasonable. So this is why we want to change the status quo and provide teachers adequate support that they need, that they should be getting, that's their right. So how do we make coaching accessible? How do we reduce the cost so much? So we use a lot of technology to enable us to bring down the price points quite a lot. We hesitate to use the term EdTech to describe ourselves because it means a lot of different things. We are not an app, we are not a platform, we are not a website, we're not any of that. We use technology in the back end mostly because front-end technology use is still kind of limited in many different contexts. Some of the biggest platforms in the world have tech platforms in the world have very low engagement rates. So we don't want to do all of that. So we want to meet the customer, meet the teacher where they are today. And there's, again, tons of research that shows in-person mentoring and in-person coaching is way more valuable and has much higher impact than an app or a website or what have you. So over the last few years, we have collected more than 10,000 classroom observations, and each observation tracks around 30 data points. So we know teaching at a very intimate level. We know teaching much better than many governments do, much better than most schools do, much better than even many teacher coaches or coaching companies or even teachers. What does this help us with? So using this data, what we want to do is to build a model of a high functioning coach. So we don't want to believe in superstar coaches. What we believe is in data, and the proof is in the data. So we have built up an amazing data bank of what strategies work for teachers. We have built up amazing data bank of what behavioral, not just to be given to teachers at what point of time, what interventions need to be sequenced and how. So all of this helps us to deliver coaching at scale. So the biggest limiting factor for us to coach, let's say 20,000 teachers, is the number of high quality coaches that we can deploy. Right now, it's amazing, but each one of our coaches supports at least 80 teachers. And this is a huge number when you think about it. And this is possible because of the judicious use of technology that we do to help the coach provide an amazing coaching experience, but also consistent coaching experience to the teacher. From the teacher's point of view, an accelerated coach, regardless of who or she is, should provide the same level of coaching and the same level of support as any other coach from our team. And we have developed learning pathways, skill trees, so that once we get a new teacher onboarded into the system, into our practice, the system, we can already determine what their performance is going to be. It's 3 months from now, what interventions we need to stack up every week, every month, so that to get to the desired level of performance at the end of the year. And the business model is very simple. Like I said, we're a for-profit company. We charge a simple subscription fee for every teacher that we work with, and schools are our customers. So once we sign a partnership agreement with the school, they select the number of teachers to be part of our program. And then each teacher from the school gets access to a highly trained, very dedicated coach from our team. And the coach provides 2 or 3 big intervention areas and support areas to the teacher. So the program starts with training. We give foundational training on pedagogy and the core aspects of structured pedagogical approach in the classroom to the teachers. We see trainings as necessary but insufficient. To close this necessary and the sufficiency loop, we use a mix of different interventions. So the coach sits with the teacher and agrees to a set of goals that the teacher has to deliver on through the course of the year. And the coach then does classroom observations and conducts spot checks in the classroom to see like how the teacher is performing, where the teacher has strengths and what are the gaps that the teacher has, and collects this data on our very cool mobile app. And the app automatically generates what kind of targeted feedback that the coach can provide to the teacher. So right after the classroom observation, the coach and the teacher find some time together to have a debrief or a coaching session. It's very quick and very on point, and it's relevant to the task at hand. It's not something to do in the future. It's not very theoretical. It's extremely practical, and it's strategies that the teachers can implement right away. So the app provides prompts to the coach to give exactly the right amount of support needed. And the coach obviously is like free to add and build on their own expertise and build on their own experience to add their own flavor of coaching to the teacher.
Absolutely. So one thing that I will add to what Ravi said, so this technological ways of delivering the coaching session is like the strong side of the accelerator coaches. But aside from that, I think what makes accelerator coaches different than most coaches that we have seen, or we have talked to, or we have seen in practice is the relationship that is built with the teacher. Mm-hmm. So the model that we have for that also allows us to be the best, or to give a service that is best for the teachers, because the relationship that we'll build will definitely give more authority, also give them more practice, which makes it, I think, the best way to coach a teacher, aside from using this technological enhancements.
Yeah, and the technology and the data model will help us make sure that coaching does not need a lot of money to deliver. It does not require tons of resources to deliver. Our coach development internal platform and the systems that we have in place can take a very motivated teacher, former teacher who wants to now be a coach, and give them the right tools and right support so that they can start coaching in even 2 to 3 weeks right away. So that's how we bring the cost down. So our coaches are regular teachers with a few years of teaching experience, but who are motivated to do bigger and better things. And yeah. So the cost to the end user is really, really low. We work with a whole range of schools, from government schools, from neighborhood schools, from small schools to international schools, whatever schools. And the price is kind of a sliding scale, so it's varying between different schools. And yeah, we don't compromise on the quality of service to any of these schools. The service levels remain the same, but the price at the portfolio level makes a lot of sense for us. So finally, I would love if you could share our work with any schools that you know or school systems that you know. We usually get quite a few inbound requests from different parts of the world, from Brazil, from India, from Tanzania, from South Africa, from different school owners and school operators in requesting us to help them out with teacher development and putting in place systems, or even come and deliver a few programs. So we're always on the lookout for more clients and more partners to work with. Secondly, please do reach out if you need like any support from our side. Like we have expertise in content design, we have expertise in very, very, very efficient content delivery mechanisms, and we have a lot of internal SOPs and systems and processes that we have fine-tuned over the last few years. We're happy to share. We have learned a lot from everybody that has done all of this work around the world before us. So we're happy to pay it forward. And thanks a lot for the HundrED community, for the organizers for giving us this opportunity. So thanks everyone. hope this is a success. We'll see how it turns out.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Signing off from Ethiopia. Have a good evening. See you later for the next web chat.